hope that you're having a good weekend so far. And before you get to class, there's an experiment that I want you guys to all do. And then with that information in your science notebooks, you'll come back to class and we'll be able to discuss what you guys found and really focus on each individual step of going through the science inquiry that we've been learning about in class. So first, I want you guys to go run and get your science books if you don't have them already. And then I'm going to give you a list of all the materials that you're going to need so that you are able to go get those all together, and then we'll all be able to get started together and we can go through all of the steps one by one. So remember that if you get behind or you need to pause it for any reason, you can definitely do that and then just go ahead and push play again. But first of all, like I said, you're going to need your science notebooks. You are going to need 5 glasses of water, or you can just have 1 glass of water and you can keep pausing and then emptying it out as we go. So I have 5, and as you can see, they're filled with water. And then you're going to need 3 eggs, and these are raw eggs, so they're not hard boiled or anything, just from the fridge. Then you're going to need 6 tablespoons of salt and 3 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, so I have the 6 tablespoons are split into 2 equal containers. So I have 3 tablespoons of sugar here and here, salt, and then I have 3 tablespoons of salt. And then you also need 3 different colors of food coloring. So I'm going to be using yellow, red, and blue. And then you guys need to get the matching colored pencils to those as well. You can either use colored pencils, markers, crayons, anything like that. And then just a pencil, and I think that's all you're going to need to be able to get started. So first, what we're going to be doing is we're talking about water density. And we're going to see how dense water is, and if it's more dense or less dense when you add stuff to it, such as sugar and salt. The main purpose of this entire lesson is for you guys to focus on each of the steps of a science inquiry and getting those steps down, knowing what to write down in your notebooks and knowing what's important, how much detail to put in. So really focus on each step, making sure that it's nice and thorough and that you'll remember what you've done at home when we come back to class so we can really talk about it. But first, go ahead and write down the title of this experiment, and it's called the density of water. And then after you do that, we're going to look at the purpose. And for us, the purpose of this experiment is to see the differences in water density. Okay? And from there, once you get that all written down, and remember I'm just going to be going through these steps, but you can definitely pause them and then come back to it as needed. We're going to set up a plan. So the plan for this, number 1, we're going to talk about what will be changed. And with this is the independent variable. So each time, the water is what's going to change. So the different materials such as the sugar and the salt and then just plain water is what will change. The eggs are going to stay the same. The cups are all the same. The amount of water is about the same in all of them, as close as I can get it. And then from there, we're just going to see where the density is different in the water and where the eggs lie. Next is number 2, and this is what will stay the same. And like I said, that's going to be the water, and the amount of water. The cups in which they're all the same cup. The eggs are going to stay the same, and I think that's about it that's going to stay the same. And then we're going to see how will the differences be measured. We're just going to look at them, and we're going to draw pictures as we go and record it. You are welcome to get a tape measure or anything like that, or even mark on the glasses. If you have like a washable marker, you can do that. But for this right now, we're just going to be drawing them and taking down really detailed notes of what's going on. So let's see. Then I want you guys to make up a focus question. So I want you guys to be thinking about different ways that you can write this, and I'm not going to give you the answers, so you guys are going to be able to come back to class and we're going to all think about that focus question. And remember, this is what's being tested. So we're testing the density of water, but how do you want to state that question? It's not about how density or how water works and how density is different, but like what kind of water will be the best for the egg to float in. So go ahead and write down that focus question right now. And then next we're going to look at the prediction. And this is what we're trying to find out. And so first I want you guys to go ahead and make a prediction table just like this. And on one side you're going to put what will happen. And then on the other side you're going to write what did happen. So obviously right now we're going to fill out the what will happen. And you're going to write down which water you think will the egg float best in. So if you think that the plain water will be best for the egg to float, then go ahead and write that down. If you think it's the salt water, record that. And then if you think it's the sugar water, go ahead and write that down as well. And then make sure that you're keeping the this side blank for you guys, and so that you're able to go back after it's done and record that. Again, if I'm going too fast for you guys, make sure that you're stopping this and being able to go back and rewind it and really think about everything that's going on and that you're doing the best that you can while you're at home. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a glass of regular water. And I'm going to be doing these two at a time so that you guys can see the differences. So the first one, so we're going to take an egg, and the one on your right is going to be plain water. And so we're going to drop that in there, and we're going to see how well it floats. And it actually is touching the bottom of the cup. These cups kind of make the eggs look big, but you guys can still tell. And for the next one, we're going to take 3 tablespoons of salt, and go ahead and pour that in there. And we're going to give it a quick little stir just to make sure that it kind of starts to dissolve, because it is a lot of sugar, or a lot of salt. And then once you do that, I want you guys to stick the egg in there. And if you can't really see from here, but if you were looking from the top where I'm looking, it's a little bit below water, but it's starting to bob up towards the top. So there's a couple ways that we're actually going to record this. And right now, as your eggs are sitting in water, I want you to split your paper up like this. So we're going to do 2 different experiments where we're comparing them. So for the first one, I want you to use the upper half of your paper, and you're going to have one box labeled water, another box labeled salt, and the other one labeled water/salt. So you're going to be using the upper half for these first ones, and then you're going to be using the lower half for the other experiment that we're going to be doing. So if you want to right now, go ahead and record, set up the bottom half of your paper, and this one's going to be into 4 different boxes right now. And so you're going to have a plain water, a plain salt, just like we're doing now. Then you're going to have a sugar, and then you're going to have water, salt, and sugar. Okay, so that's a combination of all 3 of these cups right here, and then the water and the salt to make a combination of the salt and water. Besides this, on the next page, I want you guys to set up an explanation, just like this, leaving a couple lines in between each of these headings. So again, we have the water, salt, water and salt, water again, salt for the second time, sugar, and then water, salt, and sugar. And you guys are going to be describing each that the eggs are sitting in, and making sure that you're being super detailed, because we're all going to be using different amounts of water, and so we need to see the differences in which the eggs are sitting in the glasses. So make sure that you're being super detailed, and you're stopping in between the steps and pausing this video so that you're able to record as much as you need. So right now, you're going to be drawing in each of these boxes a little cup, just as I have right here. So this is obviously the water, and this is the salt. So then there would be each of these cups, one in here and one in here. And I'm using the larger one so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So I'm going to record my first one. And for the water, the egg is sitting on the ground. So I want to make sure that I'm showing it all the way down to the bottom, right here, okay? And for the salt, it's kind of hovering in the middle a little bit, really close to the top. And I drew a water line right here so that we're able to tell where it's at compared to the glass. So we're going to draw this one up towards the top, but not directly. So this is what your first paper should look like, but with your egg where it's at on the salt, okay? And so this is going to be the first two boxes of your recording right here. At this moment, go ahead and pause the video and fill out your explanations for the water and the salt. And then the next one we're going to be doing is combining water and salt together. So we're going to go ahead and take these eggs out. And then I have a larger glass right here that I'm going to pour each of these into. Try to get as much of that salt out as you can. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and take one of the eggs and put it in here and see what the combination does with the less salt and the water. So again, the egg is coming up to the top and it's actually floating closer to the top this time than it did before. So go ahead and write down those observations, and I have a larger paper for the water and the salt, and I'm going to record that right now. Okay, so we've done our first steps, and we have the water and the salt, and then we also have the combination of the water and salt. So the next part is we're going to repeat everything we just did, but we're going to do it with 3 different cups now with water, salt, and sugar. So go ahead and take your egg out of your glass, and I have a cup right here that I'm going to pour all of this into so that I'm able to use this cup again. We'll set those aside for right now. So I have 3 new glasses of water. Okay, I'm going to put these over here. So the first one again is just going to be regular water. So we can go ahead and put that egg in there. And again, that one sinks. The second one is going to be salt. So I'm going to add all the salt. And the third one's going to be the sugar. So now we're going to add the sugar. Okay, so before I add the eggs to the rest of the cups, this is where the colors are going to come in. So we're going to have yellow be the regular water, red's going to be the salt water, and then blue is going to be the sugar water. So at this point, you're going to take a couple drops just so we can color code it and see what's going on and how the water affects it. So we've got our yellow, red, and red again is for the salt, and then blue is for the sugar. And you guys can use whatever colors you would like or whatever you have on hand. These are just the colors that I chose. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this a little bit since it has so much salt again. And then we're going to go ahead and stir some of the sugar. Okay. Then we're going to drop the rest of our eggs in. So I already have my my water, just plain water egg in there. And then this is going to be the salt. And then we have for the sugar. And now we're going to do the same thing we did before with using this table and filling out the bottom half. So as I'm recording my observations, I want you to record yours as well. Okay, so as you can see, my salt and sugar are about at the same height, and again, this will differ depending on how much water you have in there and how much of the actual salt and sugar that you have. So make sure that you're recording these as best as you can so that when we come back to class on Monday, we'll be able to compare them and see how everybody's turned out. And now, for one of the last parts, we're going to take this first cup again And after you remove all of your eggs, we are going to combine the 3 of these, and obviously all the water is not going to fit into my cup, so I'm just going to put a little bit of each. Okay, so now we have this water right here. That's a combination of the water, salt, and the sugar. And we're going to go ahead and drop one of the eggs inside and see what happens to it. See whether it evens out or if it floats back up to the top. And again, this is where the last section of your paper will come into play, and you're going to be able to record where the egg's at for the water, salt, and sugar. At this point, I want you to take your colored pencils or markers or whatever you have and go ahead and color in your water. So, and so we can see what those look like. So for my water, I had yellow, and for salt, I had red, and the sugar was blue. So I just quickly colored those in, and you're not be able to see it very well, but this is yellow, red, and blue. And make sure you're taking your time and you're filling it in completely so we can see all the different colors that you guys use in recording all your evidence. So the last thing is that you guys are going to go back to that prediction that you had made where it talks about what will happen, and I want you to explain what did happen. So whether your prediction was correct or it was wrong, go ahead and write why that happened. And then this is where, this last part that we've been talking about is the claims and evidence. So I want you guys to claim what happened for each egg and then the evidence on that. So if your water, your plain water sunk to the bottom, I want you to write that the egg that was in plain water sunk all the way to the bottom, and then the evidence that told you this, okay? So going again from the claim to the evidence multiple times on each of the different eggs. And then last but not least, you're going to fill out a couple of claim because sentences. So you're going to say, I claim that the egg in the sugar water will have the highest density because, and then fill out the rest of it. So you can use these claims and evidence for the different sentence structures straight from your table. So overall, I want you guys just to really focus on the process that we go through and all the different steps that we use. But I hope you had fun playing with the sugar and the salt and seeing which eggs in water is more dense. But make sure that you're recording all of this in your science notebooks and you're taking super good notes so that when we come back to class, we'll all be able to bring those notes together and see the differences in what we have. So have a good rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys all on Monday. Have fun.